constitution.
What does withering away of a state imply in the context of Marxian philosophy?
Which country has a policy of strategic ambiguity vis-a-vis Taiwan?
What did Weber say about power? How many types of power did he tell about?
Termites, mounds, they are a good example for what?
May I come in, sir?
Yes, please do.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Arnav Mishra.
Yes.
Arnav, will English be your preferred medium?
Yes, sir.
Fine, and you're comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Fine, Arnav, then let us start. Please introduce yourself to the board.
Yes, sir. Sir, my name is Arnav Mishra and I belong to Raebareli district from Uttar Pradesh. I have graduated from IIT Jodhpur and afterwards worked nearly for an year. So last year in civil services, I have been selected and allotted DANIPS as the service, along with being selected in UP PCS and allocated deputy collector as the position. And in my free time, I like to pursue singing as well as playing guitar as my hobbies.
So you have DANIPS on your left hand and Deputy Collector of Uttar Pradesh in right hand. What are you going to choose out of these two if these are the only option?
Then I would be going with deputy collector, sir.
Deputy Collector.
Yes.
Why?
Sir, because it has administrative roles that I had been aspiring for. And sir, though at the junior level itself, it offers that kind of variety that I had been aspiring for as for being an Indian Administrative Services as a service. So that would be the reason, sir. Even though DANIPS is also an excellent service.
Then why you have opted even for the revenue services in the central services if you already have a service which is very close to the service you actually want? I can understand IAS, IPS, but why even the revenue service?
Sir, the revenue services also offers that kind of diverse platform, and sir, it belongs to the group A of services. So in the recent times, as the changes in the economy have been happening, so the IRS has also become a very preferred opinion as a choice of option. Hence, sir, I have filled.
You've taken sociology as your optional, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, when we talk about Indian society, and you must have studied in sociology Indian society, I could never understand how can we prefix Indian to a society, because Indian society is not one society, it has many societies, and then how do we define a society in context of national boundaries?
Yes, sir. So society as a concept is a very wide variety and many diversity is present, sir. Indian, as we say, is the Indianness that we share. So whether it be the culture, whether it be the tradition, whether it be the past that we had, whether it be the freedom struggle. So sir, during that phases of history, we developed nationalism as the value, and hence the Indian society, as we say at present, has evolved, sir, during the course of time.
If that is the case, then give me 3 traits which any Indian society will have, be it from the northeast, be it from the mainland India, or be it from the Andamans. Only 3 characteristics.
Sir, democratic values. Then
democratic values, I think half the Indian society or families do not have that value.
Sir, in the form of governance, they adhere to
I am
democracy.
talking about the society in general, social institutions.
Sir, respect to the parents, if at a very personal level to be considered. Then, sir, respect for the nation is other thing. Then, sir, respecting traditions and cultures along with adoption of modernity has been a mainstay of Indian society, which is the basic reason why India as a nation has been progressing.
True, accepted. You just talked about working in Uttar Pradesh at the grassroots level is something you're looking forward to. What are the primary problems which you foresee you'll be encountering once you become, for example, a DM or a STM in Uttar Pradesh?
Sir, primary problems, I would say social problems are there, certain kinds of divides are there. For example, sir, caste divides are there, then regional divides are there, then religious divides are there, then gender divides are there. So, sir, bridging these type of social gaps would be one of the mainstay. Along with that, sir, overall industrial development as well as focusing on education So these will be my mainstay if given the opportunity as an administrator. So this will help in overall progress of Uttar Pradesh as a society and India at large.
Recently, Uttar Pradesh declared that its unemployment ratio is one of the least in the country.
Yes, sir.
You're an engineer. How credible you find those figures? Because on ground we see a kind of unemployment there is. In the CSET examination, other examination, we do see that sea of unemployed youth. But the figures are suggesting something else. Do you believe that the credibility of the government is at stake here?
Sir, the figures to my, as the extent I know, sir, to the best of opinion, they are correct, sir. Certain employments, as to say the informal nature of work that is very much prevalent in Uttar Pradesh, at times is not represented in the formal counting of employment, but sir, informal kind of labor is very much prevalent in UP. So, yes, the employment is to people, but the quality of employment still needs a lot of work, so as to people get better earning.
So you believe if these yardsticks are implemented to the rest of the states, then probably India is what, employment surplus country?
Sir, definitely some lacunas do occur in the employment, and sir, further depth of data is necessary, but at the primary extent, sir, the data seems to be correct, but further depth of knowledge is needed to be collected, sir, in that case.
Anyways, thank you, sir.
Mr. Arnav,
Yes, sir.
tell me one thing. Whenever any political party contest any election for state assembly or for the parliament, they usually come up with one statement that is called election manifesto, right?
Yes.
And they make a long list of promises that they will follow, they will implement in case they are voted to power. But after 1 or 2 years, if you take 2 years as a reference term and decide as to how many promises have been fulfilled, it will be a big disappointment to you. It is the case with most of the political parties. Don't you think such sky tall declarations in election manifesto basically is a fraud on the mandate that they have been given? If it is the case with any political party that has been voted to power and the political party is not delivering up to the promises that it has made, what is your take on that?
Sir, the political system in India allows the parties to design their manifesto and claim things that they ought or they want to do during the course if they come to power. And sir, the democratic form of governance allows that people draw accountability to the government. So yes, if the promises that have been made are not satisfactory and the people are not satisfied due to non-fulfillment of promises, they can vote out the government and change the form of governance.
How? Do we have a system of direct participation of public at large? No, we don't have. We don't have the system of plebiscite. We don't have a system of recall. How they can be made more accountable to the promises that they are making before the public? I just want a very honest and very out of box suggestion from your side.
Sir, social auditing mechanisms could be developed. For example, the social media in the recent times and the media at large has been the fourth pillar of democracy. So it helps in deriving that kind of from the government, basically from the ruling party, that kind of responsibility that if they have claimed something, then they have to fulfill. Along with that, sir, direct governance is also present at the lower rungs of the governance, that is the third wheel. But at the state as well as the national level, it is still not present. But sir, more participation of people, whether it be through platforms like mygov.in, or many times government puts up any of the manifestos for the review of the people. In there they can put, then sir, RTIs are one of the mechanisms to draw accountability with the government. So sir, these mechanisms could be followed.
Okay. So tell me one more thing. See, lateral entry has become a reality now since you are going to join the services. And not many people are gaining entry into the services at a very high level, that is joint secretary level. Yes. Do you think this particular innovation is marring the chance and possibilities of young officers in terms of career progression?
Sir, lateral entry has become the need of the form of governance that we are having, because the challenges that the government was facing required some kind of specialization, some kind of specialist knowledge in those phases. So yes, if used correctly, sir, and properly selected candidates at the higher level also.
If that system is to be replaced by something which can be introduced at the entry level itself, what suggestion do you have to make? In order to dispense with the mechanism of lateral entry, something can be introduced at the entry level itself. When you are talking about, bringing people from different disciplines, the experts of different domains, that can be taken care of at the initial level as well.
Sir, during the training procedure, basically the students who get selected for the services can be graded into, not graded, but divided into certain groups who are specializing in certain fields. For example, sir, engineers could be the one, then doctors could be the one, or other scientists could be the one. Similarly, sir, people having specialized knowledge could be divided so that they further enhance upon that knowledge and specialize during the course of being the part of bureaucracy.
Okay, before my last question to you, since you are a student of sociology, you must have studied the philosophy of Karl Marx, right?
Yes.
When he says there will be a transition phase wherein dictatorship of proletariat will continue,
Yes, sir.
and simultaneously state will wither away, and we will usher into an era which will be gently called a system of communism. What is this state will wither away referring to?
Sir, state, according to the Marxian principle, is a concept which limits the choices of the people, which governs the people and does not allow them to do what they want. So,
See,
sir, that
if you have studied the philosophy of Karl Marx, then only you will be able to give a pinpointed reply to what I am asking. My question is very simple. I am asking, what does withering away of a state imply in the context of Marxian philosophy?
Sir, that the people at the grassroots level, that are the proletariats, will gain the governance and they will be in power.
So there will be no state as such. There will be no government as such.
Sir, government would be of the people. So that would be the case, sir, not of the elite groups, but from the masses.
Arnav, I'll give you a phrase and you have to tell me like how it is connected to you. Nation wants to know.
Sir, it's a prominent phase of one of the news journalists by the name of Arnab Goswami, who shares a kind of similarity with my name.
So what does the nation actually want to know? We see these news channel debates. Are they really showing what the nation wants to know, or they are just in the race of TRPs?
Sir, to certain extent, they do require that people say out the truth and what the behind things are. But at times, they also jump over towards the requirement of the TRP and the publicity. Sir, media is called the fourth pillar of democracy, and it has to play its role very responsibly.
Do you think the time has come when these TV debates need to be maybe, if not censored, then at least regulated?
Sir, basic regulations and moderations rulings can be made, so that rather than, sir, having a positive idea that what is to be done, rather than we could have the rules and regulation what is not to be done, so as to, in a negative sense of way, so as to just regulate and not manage that things.
Okay. Which country has a policy of strategic ambiguity vis-a-vis Taiwan?
Sir, United States at times follows the strategic ambiguity.
And
policy.
why this strategic ambiguity?
Sir, because at times it perceives China as its main enemy, whereas at times Russia becomes its main enemy. So during that time, at times it wants to militarily support Taiwan, but also it does not want to
Or
involve.
does it want both China as well as Taiwan not to cross maybe certain limits by keeping its stand ambiguous?
Yes, sir. Sir, the policy of United States have been for the national interest first. So they want that kind of eye, because Taiwan acts as a center of United States influence in this region. So they want that kind of divides does exist in the region, sir.
Okay. Which are the three biggest lenders to Sri Lanka?
Sir, India is one, Sri Lanka is, China is one, and then Japan is third.
Can you tell me the order?
Sir, I am unable to recall the exact order.
Okay. In context of Sri Lanka only, the Paris Club is also in news. What is Paris Club?
Sir, I am not able to recall right now.
Okay. You come from Uttar Pradesh. Now, Uttar Pradesh government is trying to follow a policy of population control and through coercive means. Right. They came out with a policy where some penalties would be imposed on people who are having more than 2 children. And the national government has a different view on population control or population stabilization. So you are selected in DANIPS and you are also selected as deputy collector. So if a choice is to be made, you'll go with the central government or with the state government on population issue.
Sir, I will be going with the idea of central government, but I would need to clarify that, sir, the state government of Uttar Pradesh is also not exactly making the coercive measures. Rather than it is giving positive incentives to the people who tend to incline more towards the idea of family planning and smaller families due to the problems of overpopulation in the state.
So you see nothing wrong in the policy brought by UP government?
Sir, at present, any kind of coercive measures have not been included in the policy. So, at present, sir, the policy aligns with the constitutional norms.
Okay. What is a white paper? Sometimes governments issue white paper on various issues. So what exactly is a white paper?
Sir, white paper refers to the basic guidelines or the basic rulings that have been passed regarding any of the decisions.
Okay. My final question to you, Arnav. If a choice has to be made between a good government or self-government, you can have like it's a binary situation. Then what would you choose and why?
Sir, I will be choosing self-government because if the government is self, then it would be of the people, for the people and by the people. So what we say as a democratic government, it will automatically, after improvement, will become a good government model.
Thank you, Arnav.
Thank you, sir.
Arnav, what did Weber say about power? How many types of power did he tell about?
Ma'am, Weber defined power in three formats. So, ma'am, presently I'm unable to recall the types of power.
Charismatic?
Yes, ma'am. Now I could. Traditional power was there, then charismatic power was there, then legal rational power was there.
Right. So right now in India, if you look at the power structure that is prevailing across states and at center, which type of power do you see in practice, not in theory?
Ma'am, legal rational power is in the form
theory.
of legal form, and ma'am, traditional power is also to certain extent working in India. But every day we are moving towards the legal rational form of power governance.
Don't you think we're moving more towards charismatic form of power?
Ma'am, charismatic form of power may be derived from a leader's presence.
Which is happening.
But ma'am, that charisma is also deriving its power from the legal rational authorities. So as to say, if the leaders who are possessing that charismatic power, they are also elected from the people. So they get their mandate from the people. So
The people are driven because of the charisma of the leader. Yes, they are elected through legal rational means, but ultimately it's the charisma which is driving them.
ma'am, I would say that charisma is derived from certain reasons why that charisma is being drawn. So any of the leader doing good work and doing that even legal rationally and utilizing the authority that he has when he has, so that kind of draws the charisma. So even though the charisma helps in leadership, ultimately it goes to the legal rational authority because constitutional supremacy in the country is there. So the leaders are also elected.
Okay. Can you give me example when we say of cultural diffusion, we have little tradition, great tradition. You understand the concept of universalization and parochialization. So can you tell me an example of universalization of little tradition and one example of parochialization of great tradition?
Ma'am, from little tradition, an example is a tribal festival called Saluno, which had been celebrated. So it had been universalized in a form of Raksha Bandhan that we do celebrate in modern times. And ma'am, regarding parochialization, if international example could be quoted, then ma'am, like McDonald's or Domino's or these food chains are present. But when they Indianize their food in India, for example, including paneer and including Indian spices, so that could be an example of parochialization also.
This is more of an example of globalization.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anyway, UP government has started the second phase of Sansad Khel Mahakumbh. Are you aware of this?
Ma'am, I'm not aware
No
presently.
idea. Okay, we say that these days climate change is seen everywhere except the poll manifestos. Do you agree?
No, ma'am, I would be disagreeing because in the poll manifesto also, ma'am, climate change has come up as an issue. So the political parties are claiming that.
Can you give me some examples?
Ma'am, in countries In Western countries,
Indian context I'm talking about.
ma'am, in Indian context also, it has come into debates, for example, ma'am, in local elections in Delhi or in local elections in Mumbai where disasters frequently strike. So, ma'am, the idea of reducing the pollution or better disaster management have come into play. Ma'am, in Uttarakhand, we have recently seen disasters. So there also parties are claiming that when being in power, we will better manage the situation. So yes, it is coming into play.
You are interested in Indian pop.
Yes.
Why do we see a shift in Indian pop from a golden era of 90s when they did not have much to stand on also from the point of view of support to today's pop culture, which is highly sexualized, misogynistic, abusive, and everything that it shouldn't be? Why this shift has happened? Why did we go down instead of going up?
Ma'am, pop as a musical genre itself has been becoming in India very much a fusion music. So, ma'am, pop originally had as a genre happy genres, happy singing and happy dancing moves. But due to the mix from other genres such as rock, metal, and others, ma'am, which are coming in the Indian context after globalization, we opened up the economy. So the culture also flowed from West as well. So this kind of fusion music does have some kind of elements as you had mentioned. So some problems did appear, and ma'am, present fusion music could not be characterized exactly as pop. The eras from 50s to 90s that we had was a pop era, I would say.
Okay, can you tell me two of your favorite pop singers and their songs, one each?
Ma'am, from the 50s era, I would say Kishore Kumar, and his song Zindagi Ek Safar Hai Suhana was one of my favorite songs. And ma'am, in the 90s era, ma'am, Lucky Ali is one of my singers. Jaane Kya Dhoondta Hai Mera Dil.
No, none from contemporary Indian pop.
Ma'am, contemporary Indian pop has become a lot of fusion. So yes, Arijit Singh has been composing some of the good songs, but his songs could not be exactly characterized as pop.
Okay, thank you, Arnav.
Thank you, ma'am.
No. Recently, we have seen that large tech companies are laying off in large numbers. So, apart from fear of recession, what could be possible reasons?
Sir, a requirement mismatch could also be a possible reason because workers who had been working in certain departments, they need to upgrade their profiles. For example, new technologies are coming up like artificial intelligence and deep learning neural networks. So as to get better people in the service, they may be laying off.
You have mentioned artificial intelligence. There is a one particular app, I guess you could say Chat GTP.
Yes.
So it is now there is a fear that it could replace not in technical sector but also in multiple sector. It could replace a large number of people. So is it feasible for economic? If we say that if you go for an economic consideration, is it feasible for that kind of technological advancement? Is it good for economy or is it bad?
Sir, any form of new technology, just like artificial intelligence, has its pros, has its cons. So, sir, the Chat GPT that we are talking, sir, it does has its cons because, sir, many times the students are doing their homework from that, and unemployment is one of the causes that people are fearing. But, sir, with certain limitations and regulation, the technology could be put to better use. So further development in that technology is needed, but just like, sir, any technology, just like we had computers, we had the fears that it will lead to large number of layoff, but it ultimately improved our lifestyle, but in regulation. Similarly, sir, this kind of technology must be developed.
Okay. There is one scheme from Uttar Pradesh government that is in talk to be implemented in nationwide. Are you aware which one is?
Sir, one district, one product.
So, what is the product from Raebareli?
Sir, wooden products.
Wooden products. Okay. You have mentioned in your draft that your graduation was from biological.
Yes, sir. Biologically inspired system science engineering.
Could you provide some examples?
Sir, very crude example would be the design of an aeroplane. The aerodynamics has been inspired from the bird's design. Sir, the robotics that have come up in present time is very much inspired from human body itself. Then, sir, even artificial intelligence or the neural networks have been drawing parallels from the human cognition. So these are
Termites, mounds, they are like they are good example for what?
Sir, termite mounds have been a biologically inspired system to inspire living spaces which remain cool even in very hot weather. So, sir, in desert places or in places like that, in extreme environment, sir, that design could be inspired.
Yeah, thank you.
Arnav, you mentioned that you are part of the Hindi Divas things.
Yes, sir.
So, and you're also from Raebareli, the Hindi,
Yes, sir.
also the Hindi belt as we call it. Tell me, do you believe that Hindi, that this allegation over Hindi that it's been imposed on the southern states and the states in the northeast, they do actually have some credibility in this allegation?
Sir, Hindi as a language has been spreading and it has been gaining roots. But sir, saying that it is being insisted upon, whether be it through the form of governance or whether it be through other forms, sir, I would not agree with that because government has been promoting the three language formula from the starting itself. Yes, Hindi has been the official language, but English along with the other 22 scheduled languages have also been the part of the constitution itself, and promotion of each and every language has been the ethos of the constitution and the governance too.
Even if we leave the southern languages, even for example in your states, there are many languages which are now delegated to something like dialects or something. Very well knowing that, for example, the Brij Bhasha or the Awadhi at your place is predominantly a very important literary language. So, do you believe that the rise of Hindi essentially means going away of some very important languages?
Sir, the usage of Hindi in the present times definitely has increased, but sir, consistently efforts are being made so as to protect those dialects, whether it be Brij, whether it be Awadhi or Bhojpuri, sir. These languages are also developing at their own pace. It is just that Hindi as a language has been developing at a faster pace. So certain efforts are needed to preserve.
What is the function of 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution? Why do we need such a schedule?
Sir, the function is to include, sir, India is a very diverse country. So as to accommodate that kind of diversity, sir, the 8th schedule is required, the official languages of India, the scheduled languages of India, that would say. Sir, initially there were 14 languages, and then further, as and when the constitutional amendment happened, sir, now the languages have come to 22. So, sir, to accommodate that diversity, it is very much necessary that we have those languages, and that also plays part in governance. The state governments can adopt the languages from the scheduled languages as well in their form of governance.
Fine, Adam, nice talking to you. The interview is over, you can go now.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Take a seat, Arnav.
Thank you, sir.
Arnav, your date of interview is not yet declared, right?
No.
So it will be after 10th March. And this is going to be your second interview?
Yes, sir, second interview.
What was your score last time?
So 168.
168. And by how many marks you missed IS, IPS, I mean top services?
Sir, it was a major mark difference.
Achha, there was quite a difference.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're happy with your performance today, or you believe that it could have been a little better?
Sir, improvements are needed, sir. Ma'am had asked a question, basic question of sociology, so it just slipped at that moment at my from myself. So, and other parts are also, sir, needed to be brushed. The current affairs issues. Some questions were asked that I was not having idea of.
How about the communication thing? You believe communication and the attitude approach thing? Do you believe that it was in place, or do you like some adjustments there as well?
Sir, I'm unable to judge right now, but I think it was okay.
Okay. Look at the video carefully, because that you already know, you have seen the music. I mean, you have faced the music, you know exactly what is expected. So you'll be the best judge when you look at your video. You'll be able to realize, okay, these are the few things I can probably recalibrate. Overall, obviously, you're a very good candidate. You do carry that kind of a success with you, which obviously is infusing some kind of a confidence in you, and you do have understanding of the communication. The best thing about your interview was that there was some organic conversation that was taking place.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't necessarily a question answer session, though yes, the questions were coming and you were delivering answer, but still there was a element of organic conversation, which is always indication of a good interview, right?
Yes,
That
sir.
part is definitely there. Also, there are positives, but but I need not repeat all those things. There are few suggestions, however, which you can work on. One is, I've been suggesting candidates to have the balanced view, right?
Yes, sir.
Which in your case cannot be suggested because you're already having a very balanced view. But it is just that probably